Hey guys, it's Hell Hades again, and I am back with another top 10 list. This is going to be the top 10 legendaries you can pull that do not need your books. Legendary books, one of the hardest things to get in this game. We've actually just had an event pop as I'm talking here around a Summon Rush. This is the most legendary books I've seen in one place since I started playing this game a year ago. So it's extremely expensive to get them. You'd have to pull 20 sacreds to be able to get the top tiered prize here. But I don't know, some whales might do it, I guess. Anyway, let's get into this list then. So 10 legendaries which I think do not require your books for them to be as effective as if you put books into them, or as close to. So we're going to start off with one of the Banner Lords, and it is Septimus. Septimus, number one. So when I think about putting books into a champion, I'm pretty much looking for either an improvement to their ability to debuff or cooldowns for strong abilities that I want to use again and again in fights. I'm also thinking, where do they play best? So if they're a champion that plays in Clan Boss, probably I want those cooldowns as quickly as possible. If it's somebody like an arena champion, then maybe we don't need those cooldowns because arena fights are too short. So that's what I'm thinking through with these champions. So Septimus here, all books do is build damage. He doesn't need any books for his passive to work better. These books will just improve damage. These books will just improve damage. Septimus is an amazing debuff extender with good damage. So I personally would not throw any books into my Septimus because his debuff extension is just as strong with or without books. The only time you would book this champion is if you are going for crazy end game damage. Otherwise, he is perfectly fine to use without a single book, and he will be as effective for your Clan Boss team for debuff extension, which is where you actually gain the most damage out of this champion. So for me, Septimus, number one, doesn't need books, already fantastic champion, whether you book him or not. Let's go into number two then, and that is going to be, some of these might be a little bit contentious, I think is the right word. But let's go into the... Oh no, not here. Where did I find him? Not here. Where are you? Norog. Here you are, Skinwalker. Skinwalker, sorry, I thought it was an Ogre tribe for some reason. And clearly he's not an ogre. So Norog, I've got a guide out on this guy. I really like him. He's a fun champion. He's also pretty good for the current meta for Arena. Now, why doesn't he need books? Basically, he's got a passive that it's probably his best skill, actually. In all of his skills, it's his best. He hits super hard anyway, but he's got immunity to stun, freeze, and sleep. Think about the current Arena meta. There's so much stun, freeze, and sleep in that meta. It's insane. He also decreases the damage all your allies take by 15%. Super cool for the Arena nowadays when you're getting such high hitters like your Rotas coming in, your Foley's coming in. Yeah, loads of them. Loads of people that are hitting super hard. He can tank up a lot of that damage and help your team. His A1 helps you improve a debuff on a skill you don't really care about. Decrease accuracy. It's probably the worst debuff in the whole game. Don't care about this. And his A2 gains a bit more damage and -1 cooldown on a block buffs. In an arena fight, the chance of you recycling this twice and having 6 turns is pretty low. So for me, I don't feel like you need this. His main ability is in his passive. So for me, Norog, second one on the list, decent champion, doesn't need books. Right, next we're going to jump into the Dark Elves. And we have got some that I don't own, Queen Eva. Queen Eva, best campaign farmer in the whole game. Super damage AoE nuker. But for me, we don't care about getting an extra debuff chance on a heal reduction. That's up there with an accuracy debuff, one of the worst in the game. It does have some use, but nowhere near as much as most debuffs. So we don't care about increasing this debuff chance. The A2, couple of cooldowns here on a block revive skill. You're probably not going to be taking her into somewhere like a Ice Golem. If you're going to use it for Arena, the chances are you're going to be trying to one-shot people. She will not last 5 turns or even 3 turns if you book this up because she's too squishy as a champion. You have to beat them in 1 turn if you're going to use her in the Arena. But her main ability, her A3, basically, this is why she's such a good campaign farmer, resets the cooldowns on each of this champion's skills if any target is killed. That's irrelevant of whether you book her out. So that's why she's so good as a campaign farmer. That will reset all of your other skills as soon as you kill someone. And all you're going to gain here is a bit of damage. For me, it's not worth the books. Queen Eva, absolutely fine to go. Off the bat, no books. Next one. This one is quite an interesting champ. Where are you? Where are you? I should have written the names of where everyone was. Here. It's a Void. Recently got a buff in 1.14. And I've started to see some crazy stuff being done with this guy. So Angar used to be pretty much a Vault Guard in the bin sort of champion. Now decent champion. So A1, all you gain is a bit of extra damage. We don't care about that on this guy. A2, we gain 1 cooldown. He's mainly an arena champion for me, so I don't really care about that here. If he gets this off once, you've probably won the game. But what's he do? He attacks all enemies, places provoke debuff for 1 turn, and puts reflect damage on all allies for 2 turns. This is really cool, this ability. And he also gets counter attack. So as long as that gets out once, you do not need to reset that. You should win the game. And then he's got a passive, which has got a 40% chance of replacing that provoke debuff every time he takes a hit. And he reduces his damage. So all you gain here is a really tiny amount of debuff chance. I don't think you need it. For me, off the bat, absolutely fine to go. Great champion. Next one. This one's probably going to cause some ruffles in the chats down below. Let's find him. Demon Spawn. Prince Kaimar. Awesome legendary. What's he used for? So he's mainly either an arena champion, comes in with sleeps and comes in with resets, or he resets your champions if you're doing wave clear. So for me, his main ability is this one, Seal of Magic, resets the cooldowns of all ally skills. The chances of you using this twice in any arena fight or even a dungeon run is pretty slim. That 1 more cooldown there from 7 to 6 means nothing. You're very rarely going to get a second use of it, so I wouldn't waste a book here. This skill here, 5-turn cooldown to remove all enemy buffs and sleep. Again, you could book it down to 3 turns. I don't think it's worth the books. I think he's fine without it. 1 turn of this is fine. And his A1 just gains some extra damage. No debuff improvement. He already lands a poison every time he does a crit. So for me, absolutely fine without books. Actually insanely good without books. That's my Kaimar. Next one then. Next one. Where is he? Yes. He's a Void, this guy. Hegemon. Hegemon, what's he known for? Literally, he's an arena god. He's actually kind of come back up the meta again now since it's swung and Tormund's no longer kind of the main threat in the arena. So he's got an A1. You gain a bit of debuff improvement on decreased speed. His A1's not what he's about, guys. His passive doesn't get improved from a book. His passive is basically that he's always going to go first. He will always go first in an arena fight. So the only place where you might want books is his A2. And all you're going to gain here is increased damage. And we don't book just for increased damage, guys, unless you're swimming in books. This guy is going to get the same capability of landing these 2 crazy skills every time he attacks in the arena, whether you book him or not. Do not book Hegemon unless you are swimming in books. He doesn't need them. Next one is going to be in Demon Spawn. Drexar. Drexar Blood Twin. So Drexar, for me, is actually, again, all about his passive. You see a bit of a theme here. A lot of these people that don't need books is because they've got a really cool passive. So this guy has got a passive that whenever he takes a hit, can land an HP burn on a target. Starts off at 55%. If you book it up, it's going to go up to, 70? It's better. I don't feel like you need it because he takes those hits pretty regularly. 55 is already pretty nice. And if it's Clan Boss, he's getting hit every single turn anyway. So 55% chance is enough. If you're talking about Spider, he's your Spiderling tank. He's getting hit by so many of those spiders that he's going to land enough debuffs anyway. His other skills then, he's got AoE, 1 turn provoke. That's not what we're using for, guys. It's helpful. 40% chance to start. It's only going to go up to 50 anyway. For me, it's not a good enough skill to book. And then his A1, HP burn, the chance doesn't change. It's just damage. Drexar doesn't need books. Very good champion, actually. Great for clan boss. Great as a spiderling tank. Pretty good elsewhere as well in dungeons. But for me, doesn't need any books. Let's move on then to... actually, she's here. Krutraxa. Krutraxa is a damage goddess. Really cool skin as well. I really love this one. Passive doesn't take any books, and it's a very cool passive. A1 will just do a bit more damage, and A2 will do a bit more damage, tiny amount, and debuff chance improvement on a weaken that we don't really care about. I wouldn't build any accuracy into her build. She's all about out nuke. She's not about landing weaken for me. So I would not build accuracy, therefore I would not improve this. If you were being flush with books, you might book this just because you wanted to hit as hard as possible. I do not think it's worth it. For me, I wouldn't throw books into her, and she will still be an absolute beast on your team. Okay, so coming on to number 10. Number 10 is Vizier. So I own Vizier. Vizier is insane. He is an out-and-out clan boss specialist. He is, for me, the second best clan boss champion in the game behind Valkyrie, because he brings something so unique to your team. He brings the ability to keep debuffs on the clan boss all the time. So let's have a look then. His passive doesn't get affected by books. His A3 we pretty much never want to use, which is a debuff spread. It's cool in theory. In practice, very rarely used, and we don't care about booking it out anyway. His A2, we actually want the debuff chance to be as weak as possible in his A2, because we do not want these extra debuffs landing on clan boss. So it only leaves his A1. His A1's already got 35% chance to extend a debuff every time you hit, and he hits 3 times. If you give yourself the mastery, which it gives you an extra 5% chance each time. Evil Eye, I think it's called, or Sniper. Evil Eye or Sniper, one of the two. I think it's Sniper actually. Gives you 40% chance here. You're going to keep debuffs up all day long, whether you book him out or not. Absolutely you will. I've seen it done. If you book him out, you get him up to 50% chance. Yes, you'll do it easier. But for me, it doesn't need books, and he's still an absolute beast in the clan boss. So, guys, look, that's my 10. If you've got some other suggestions, please put them down below. This is actually a really important topic because we've got, everyone's got a lot of legendary, not everyone's, that's wrong. We've got legendary champions in our accounts generally, and we've only got a really finite resource of books. It's so important to book the right champions. I'm going to do a follow-up video to this, just looking at champions that I absolutely would book if I got those champions. I've been Hell Hades. I'll chat to you soon.